We the people.
We the people.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
That all are created equal with certain unalienable rights.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
In order to form a more perfect union.
And secure the blessings of liberty.
Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech.
Or of the press, and the rights of the people peaceably to assemble.
And to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
Let facts be submitted to a candid world.
Welcome to the People's Platform. I'm Delinda Eiffel. Joining us today is none other than LightSpeed Arafat. Thanks so much for being here.
All
Welcome.
Right, thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Absolutely. Now, visual, lyrical artist, media designer, producer, entrepreneur, all things that can be described as your name, as who you represent. What's your dedication behind what you do?
My dedication, truthfully, is to give back what I receive. I feel like I'm very fortunate, very blessed. My mother was a community activist, artist, and those things, and so she really, I really got a lot of exposure when I was young to a lot of different things, being in the community and stuff like that, and I'm just happy to be able to give certain things back.
So talk to us a little bit about your movement. What is it that you do?
My movement. That's so funny to hear that word. And I wouldn't, you know, it's moving, yes. But I don't know if I'd call it a movement. I don't know. Some people might.
Yeah. It may not be moving as fast as you would want it to right now, but as long as it's moving, it's a movement.
Yes.
So talk to us about that.
Well, it was my company, LightSpeed Entertainment. I started it about 7 years ago, actually in 2008. It was something that happened through circumstance. It was just kind of meant to happen. I was doing entertainment at the time. People were telling me, oh, you're kind of good. You might want to think about going and, promoting and performing outdoors and all these things. And I tried to plan an event for myself. It was a self-centered event that ended up being a community event where I didn't even perform. And I think that was what kicked off LightSpeed. I had a person who kind of inspired me to do that. Actually, two people who were very influential in that like to play behind the scenes, so I won't mention them, but two sisters encouraged me to do what I do today. Okay,
now if anyone has had the opportunity to hear you perform and speak, or even see you, or even read your work on the blogs that you do on Boston Naturals, in my opinion, you're hands down inspiring to anyone that hears you. Oh, wow. So let me ask you this, what inspires you?
Wow, what inspires me? I'm going to just say something cliche. These children inspire me. My daughter inspires me. My mother inspired me. Mainly, my main inspiration, I would say, is my daughter. And I know that's a different type of inspiration, but she's the one that keeps me going. I think she cleaned me up in a lot of different ways. But in terms of figures that inspire me, I mean, one of my favorite people ever is Malcolm X. I just love him, of course. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. And there's so many people that I don't even want to go any further because there's so many people that I would leave out. And my community inspires me. What we've gone through, what we've been up against and what we're overcoming.
Absolutely. Now, in one of your more recently written pieces on the same blog that we just touched on, is titled, Diary of a Black Man, Don't Feed the Artist. Catchy title. Nice. You touched on the lack of financial support for local artists.
Yes.
Why do you think that's such an issue, and how can we, as a community, overcome that? What can we do to better that situation?
It's an issue because a lot of times art is looked at as trivial. There's no sort of, the significance of the art is lost in terms of, one, if you want to go sort of ancient and indigenous or cultural, art has always had a place in education. Art has always sort of been a way to pass down important information. And I think you know, we can over-trivialize art and make it, oh, it's just entertainment. It's not just entertainment, you know? And tying that into why artists should be appreciated is, you know, when I think about, say, some of these nonprofit events that we have. You know, we have a featured artist, and this artist keeps our crowd entertained, where otherwise they might be yawning or leaving the event early. You know, these artists draw people in, so and through their magnetism, we bring people together to focus on more important things. So I think art can't be trivialized. It's very important, and I think within that, just like any other, you know, occupation, there should also be some sort of compensation.
Absolutely. But who is that, like where we would, you know, knock on their doors or call government officials like, hey, we need more support for these types of things in the community? Is it our responsibility to get out there and, you know, pay and support and attend? Like, where do we begin? Like, how? I think, yeah, I mean, you know, Michael Jackson, I'm talking to the man in the mirror, you know. I think it definitely starts with the individuals, and the individuals will affect the masses, will affect politics, will affect other different institutions. But just in the small, even the smallest thing of appreciating artists, just with a word. Just to say, you know, you went to an event and the artist said something that really inspired you or really made you look at something deeper, because that's what, you know, artists are really gifting us with a lot of times. A different way to view things, and they're sort of also making themselves vulnerable so that we can all sort of grow from that. So even if at the small level, just to tell them thanks, appreciate artists. And then at the end of the day, whatever little bit you can, if you're at an open mic event and there's a tip jar for the artist, you know, go ahead and tip the jar. Right. The same way you would tip a cab driver. Absolutely. Now, we spoke a little bit about how art shouldn't be trivialized, and it's, you know, impactful. It holds a heavy weight in our community. Now, in weight of some of the unfortunate events, such as what occurred in Roxbury, where the police officer was shot and killed and a black man was killed in the process and whatnot, with such events going on in Roxbury, Dorchester, that's not the first time something like that has happened. How can we use the platform of art and entertainment alike, whether it's performing arts, visual arts, stuff like that, to really uplift our community? Yeah, I think, I think we need to push, I would like to see more support for artists in the same way, you know, compensation, but also pushing forward our youth and pushing forward artists who have messages that heal and help the community. I think, you know, all art is to be respected. It's all, you know, sort of freedom of speech. It's everyone's right to their own art. But I would like to see some of the more positive artists supported in pushing some of those messages, because I think it is important to attach messages to art, important messages that the community needs to hear, attach that to art, make it artful, make it attractive, so that people, you know, can gravitate towards the right things and start thinking about, you know, their conditions. Yeah. I think the thing about art that I like is that it gets right past all the sort of mental blockages that we put out, and it goes right to the psyche, you know. That's and you can learn something and not even know you're learning, or you can be, you know, have your mind changed about something and not even feel like it, you know. Or you can feel it but don't know how to articulate it. Yeah. And then you hear this person get up and perform, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, yeah. And, you know, that's how I feel at work, or that's how I feel, you know, prisoner at home, or whatever it may be. Like, they really speak the truth of what we feel sometimes. Exactly, and it's impactful on a subconscious level. Totally. Now, we touched on LightSpeed Entertainment, which is the company you started in 2008. Two words that are profound and synonymous, in my opinion, with LightSpeed Entertainment. Nice. Are not entertainment, but edutainment. Yes. And not what is it? Not community, but community. Talk to us about the play on those words and why you chose to do that. Okay, so, you know, I think edutainment is important because I think at the end of the day, the point is, you know, to educate. I think where the entertainment comes into play is that things have to be interesting, and you have to, you know, you have to be able to speak the language of the people that you're trying to reach. Right. And I think in this day, I mean, we are addicted to media. We are a media Driven, yes.
people. And that's not even just, when I say we, I'm talking worldwide. You know, so that becomes a medium, that becomes the language. So it's really important to use the language that is going to be most receptive. So that's the edutainment part.
Right.
I mean, the thing I always go back to, I always say this, who didn't learn the ABCs through a song?
True.
A, B, C, D.
I love that OP.
Exactly.
Yep,
and it works at the child level because it works at the subconscious level. It works on a psychological level.
Good, yeah. And what about the community?
The community. So that's something that I started, you know, because the mission statement for LightSpeed Entertainment is we are a resource for arts that inspire unity. And I don't know, I think I was just having a little bit of fun with the words, you know, to sort of bring unity.
Absolutely.
And then also playing on the, you know, the idea of community. Yes.
Right, right. All right, so LightSpeed Entertainment is hosting an event called Black All Year.
Yes.
This year is the 3rd annual. Before we get into this year's event, talk to us about what led you to start it 2 years ago.
Wow. So there's a lot to that. There's 2 stories to that.
We got time.
So right. So I guess the first, the latter of the stories is that I was inspired by something that happened around Black History Month. So I had an epiphany based on something that I witnessed around Black History Month in 2012. And from that, it led me to realize, you know, that something had to be done, and something had to be done internally. And that event was, I watched, and this was live. It was something that had happened recently. There was some xenophobia or hate crimes that had happened in South Africa, where Somalian refugees were being attacked, and actually one of them was set on fire. And I actually saw, that was my first time beyond seeing old slavery pics and, you know, lynchings, seeing a Black man actually on fire. And the sight of it drove me crazy. I mean, it literally bothered me to the depths of my soul. And it wasn't just that, it was attached to the way it was explained away as a domestic problem. And there was a lot to the story. But there was, you know, these representatives that were representing South Africa, and the way they explained it, you know, was in such a domestic, social way. No inclusion of what the government's responsibility is towards people that they bring into their country and the natives that are already there and the oppression that sort of goes on over there. So for me, it was awakening. It was hurtful. It was a lot of things, and it happened around Black History Month. So, you know, at this time where I'm having a realization of sort of what must be done, here this month comes, and I'm looking at things through a whole new light, through a whole new eye, and you know, I realized, just to sum it up, I can talk. I can really talk.
No, that's fine. I'll let you know when to stop.
Okay.
I'm intrigued right now because I didn't even see or hear about that. So
yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But what I realized was, you know, one, that we have to do more for ourselves internally, but then also just realizing that a lot of the problems that we try to hide away in swag or in overconfidence or other things, or ignoring, comes from deep places of pain, deep places of lack of self-love. And so Black All Year was inspired to help, you know, reinstall computer language, technological age, sorry, but to restore, you know, self-love. And I thought that was really important. Absolutely. And so that's what Black All Year is. It's a, you know, inspiring event.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I just do want to say this, because a lot of people hear the word Black All Year and they say, oh, I mean, people actually ask me, can I come? I'm like, yeah, of course you can come. We make sure that the entertainment is diverse. We represent all nationalities, because all nationalities are present in Black communities, and it's about inspiring Black, you know, unity in Black communities. And so it's not just a Black message, it's a universal message. It's really that no matter who you are, you should be able to love yourself.
Absolutely. And like you said, which is a very good point, we are very much all diverse within our own communities, because, you know, some people may look at both of us and say, you know, we're Black. But to me, I may identify more with being a Bayesian, one from Barbados, than, so, you know, more so than like a African-American, you know what I mean? So the diversity exists within our cultures and within our communities as well. So that's an
exactly,
point.
And so that's why when we say inspiring unity in Black communities, there are a lot of different people in our communities, and we try to represent that very equally and evenly.
Absolutely. Now we touched on what inspired it to start 2 years ago.
Okay.
It's coming up April 12th.
Yes.
And it's going to be at Hibernian Hall
Yes.
in Roxbury.
Yes.
Talk to us about the event. Who are some of the artists that will be performing? You know, what makes it different this year than from the first 2 years? Give us the deets.
All right, the deets. I just learned that. Someone said that to me the other day. I'm like, what's the deets? And they're like, the details. I'm like, oh, I'm slow.
You get old on us, LightSpeed.
I am getting old, I swear. I already used to always say, even when I was young, I would say I'm old soul, but now, now I'm old.
You're feeling it.
Yeah. But the details, so we started off, like I said, it started off, and when I did the first event, it was really, like, it was an emotional response. So I hadn't really worked out the kinks and thought about how do I make this event purposeful and how do I honor what it's actually about. So actually the first event, we had a lot of entertainment and less substance. It was just, you know, a lot of great entertainment, and people walked out and they were like, oh, that was a great event. You know, kind of like, you know, you throwing another party, you know, but no sort of connection to what it was really about. And then, you know, the second year, we built on that, and we had a keynote speaker. I felt like that was really good to engage the education to the entertainment, the edutainment. That's where it comes in to play. And now this year, the evolution is that we've made the event more thematic in terms of even the acts that go up there. There's a connection to the legacy. There's a connection to the purpose of the arts. So I feel really good because it's great entertainment coupled with, while you're listening to it, you've already been given the purpose. You already can have a place for it. And it just has so much more meaning and value, I think, that way.
Absolutely.
So should I go into some of the acts?
Yes, let's hear it.
All right, so the different things we have going on for Black All Year. We have, I'll start just with the vagueness. We have breakdancing. We have tap dancing. We have spoken word. We have Chicago style stepping. We have a great hula performance, like with it's not just
like hula.
Okay. It's not just like, oh, someone just get in front of it and just do a couple hula tricks. I mean, this person is really gonna blow our mind, and the lights are gonna go. They gotta come. Right. We have some great, phenomenal singers. One being April Stanford, holding down the R&B. She's like a local legend in Boston. A few people from New York coming down. We have a brother playing saxophone, a young kid, you know, on the violin, playing the violin for us. And we always try to incorporate youth. So, I mean, we have a really diverse, real good, engaging, entertaining event.
That's good, good, good. Now, it was my understanding that the event, for people who want to attend, you can attend like one part and not the other, or like there's something set up like that. I mean, we want to encourage everyone to come to the whole thing, but you know, sometimes your day can be busy. You may not be available in the morning, but you know, so talk to us a little bit about how it's broken down.
Yes, and you know, some people, I think actually it happens right before April vacation.
Oh, perfect.
So
the kids can get out there.
Youth are going to be, so there's no excuse. But also, we still understand, some people just want to get their kids to bed at a certain time, and it is an all-inclusive family event. So, you know, from 2 to 5 p.m. we have a show happening. And then from 6 to 9, we have a show happening. And they're both unique. It's not the same show repeating. So from 2 to 5, we cover our dance performances and our lyrical arts. And then from 6 to 9, we cover our fashion show. I forgot to mention that. And that's one of the highlights of Black All Year. We have such a great fashion show. So the fashion show and then the vocal performances happen.
Nice. Now, are we going to hear a little bit of LightSpeed Arafat? When we get there?
Oh, well, I might give you a snippet. I could give you a snippet. Yes.
You want to give me a snippet now?
I can give you a snippet now.
Okay.
I will not be performing. I do want to say I will not be performing at Black All Year. I tend not to and try not to perform at my own event.
In the background. That makes sense, actually. You set the platform for everyone, and that makes sense.
Yeah. It's trying to mix apples and oranges. You know, it's almost like you hosting the show and then also doing the boards. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work out for some reason.
All right. So go ahead and give us that's your camera over there.
All right. So I have this verse that I do. I'm not going to do the whole thing because you guys, I'm giving you some incentive to, when you see me on the headline or I'm performing in Boston, come and see me perform. So this one is called "Remember Me By," and this is my exiting piece when I'm headlining something. If I had one verse to make y'all remember me, I would be spitting this verse here specifically. So I could etch who I am in your memory and you would never dare doubt my ability. I'm no puppet, no one's slave, no one's mini-me. I got a few people that are true friends to me, but I ain't come to count friends or enemies. I came here essentially to rewrite history. I was born to wage war against supremacy. I was raised under the kill 'em dead industry. I've heard sirens firing since infancy, and now I don't remember it. It's just common sense to me.
Love it! Stop my finger!
Right, nice, I get snaps. Nice.
Very nice, very
cool.
nice. So talk to us about the future. Not only the future of, you know, Black All Year, because it's the 3rd annual, but we're going to keep it going. And LightSpeed Entertainment, what's the future hold for both elements?
I'm gonna be a little bit vague, because
obscurity is fine.
Obscurity is fine because I want you guys to come out, but also because strategically, you know, Black All Year, I plan to grow and get better at what I do. And hopefully expand and keep the model is really, I feel like we have a really strong model, so I want to stick with the model and just fine tune it and be able to do, you know, what I do a little bit better. In terms of LightSpeed Entertainment, we definitely have some big plans for Boston, and I mean, people should just look out and stay tuned because you know, I feel like there's some changes that, you know, need to happen in Boston, and I think this is the time. I think we're in a very important place, not only just in this country, but in the world.
Yes.
You know, people fly from all over to get their education here, which means we have an influence on a lot of people. And also, that makes this small town very important. So, yeah, and I think now is the time.
Right. Now, I do have, before we wrap up, I do have some friends or people that I know, rather, who aren't really in tune with the arts or, you know, this type of performing arts and spoken word and things that can really inspire you besides watching VH1 and those TV shows and whatnot.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
We know.
So just real quick, what would you say to people who, you know, have no idea about this element but need to really just give it a chance and check it out?
I'll speak specifically about Black All Year, and then I'll, you know, kind of branch out off of that. One, I would say people see Black All Year and think, and this is all folk. Some folks will think, if they're not black, they'll think, oh, this is not the event for me. I'm not, you know, this is not about me. I would say, no, this is definitely about you if you think that.
Right.
And then black folks will say, oh, that's a little bit too black for me. You know, it's definitely for you if you think that. The thing about it is, it's a great event, and it will inspire you. I mean, I think a lot of, you know, speaking to the audience of black folk who think that the event is too black, I think that might even come from a lack of sort of faith and pride or maybe love for your own community. And so I dare them, I challenge them to come to Black All Year because they will be inspired and they will have a change of heart. And that's, you know, I stand by that. It's been a great event. I've been here, I mean, since last year, we've been hearing the buzz of how good a show it is. And I would just say to people should open their minds and open their, you know, their eyes to what's happening around them because we have so much talent within our city.
Absolutely.
You don't have to, you know, you don't have to turn on cable to see good talent. Just like the same thing, people can watch local shows, and there's so much information and so much greatness within our community.
All right. On that note, thank you so much for being here, LightSpeed Arafat.
All
right. I appreciate it. Be sure to get out there and support the Black All Year event going down April 12th at Hibernian Hall. It's hosted by LightSpeed Entertainment. I'm Delinda Eiffel. You're watching People's Platform. Thanks for tuning in.